Hey everybody, this is Merrick coming at you not live, and today I bring you, honestly, one of the most confusing action figures I've ever owned. And I don't say that because of the character, no. I say that because this thing is simultaneously one of the best and worst figures I've ever sort of owned, I guess. And let's hop into it, shall we? So, specifically what this guy is, this is a Death Watch Mandalorian from, I think, the Mandalorian show. I haven't really watched it too much. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the Disney Star Wars properties, but I love Mandalorians, and clearly, I saw this guy in a store, and I'm like, you know what? I like his color scheme, let's buy him, and I'll see what's up, right? And little did I know that I discovered one of possibly my favorite figures because of how, weirdly, things he is. So, he has really good articulation for a 3¼ inch figure. So much so that I wish I was able to set this up with my, good old little tripod thing that I used for my action figure stream that one time. But the problem is that I didn't have enough room to put my hands to do the articulation on camera and whatnot. So take my word for it that, like I said, the super articulation on this guy is great. And already, I'm running into problems with him. We'll get into those in 1 second. So, the super articulation of this guy is pretty good. His joints feel good, and he's so smooth to move that it's literally just I could get him into poses. I want to actually get a couple of stands for him, and I'll get into some maybe future plans if I can get to that in a sec. If I can actually pull that off, I'd really like to make a custom version of this Mandalorian guy, but the articulation's so smooth and fluid that I was able to get him to do poses that Django can do in the Bounty Hunter game from years ago. And the articulation is so fucking good that they gave him a moving rangefinder because this guy's helmet is non-removable. I've not since fucking episode 2 and episode 3 have I seen action figures with features like that. A little piece in the helmet, and I think they did a couple for, the Clone Wars, but I don't like talking about those, so there's that whole sort of thing. Which is kind of ironic, because this guy is also technically from the Clone Wars cartoon, and I'll get into that in a second. But, anyway, really nice articulation, somewhat decent posability, and really, a lot of the flaws just come into the character design, which I'll get into right now. Mostly because this jetpack is way too fucking big, and he's top heavy. Now, I don't know what the whole design philosophy behind that is. I think it's just because, it's more realistic if the jetpack was bigger, because that way you can carry someone and whatnot. But I wanted to pull out something here real quick to show just the size difference between these jetpacks. This is my Jaster Muriel figure from the comic pack where he comes with Montross. And the size difference in these jetpacks is staggering. I don't know if it's just creative differences or just realism, the bigger jetpack makes more sense to lift a human body, etc., etc. It's fucking Star Wars, dude. You don't need a giant-ass jetpack to haul somebody around. But yeah, no, this is nice and sleek and small, that it's not, over, proportion and whatnot. This other one, honestly, kind of feels like a children's toy, and it doubles as a thing that makes him fucking top-heavy. So one of his major flaws is he likes to fall over and whatnot. And I really don't like that. It's already kind of hard to stand some action figures, and it gets worse when, they're just going to flop over and whatever. Some of the other features on him include his little blaster. So this is also technically flawed. This thing is way too small for his hands. And I don't know if it's just like a sculpting error or like something with it, or because I have another one that honestly fits, which I'll get to in a second. Because little secret of mine, I like this guy just enough that I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna try to army build him. And unfortunately, where I discovered some of the more fatal flaws of this figure design. Once again, why I say this is simultaneously one of the best and worst action figures I've ever owned. So kind of going forward, after I bought this guy and was like, like, holy shit, this is awesome, I kind of decided, you know what? Let's fucking go in. I bought a few more. Not specifically him, as you see. I got one of him in the box. These guys are going to come out of the box. But I also got that guy, which is also him again. You kind of see him doing like this. I bought this guy, where the real flaws start coming in. And this guy, which is built off of the same sculpt. And here's where my problems come in with this. So, I don't know which figure came first. If it was the Death Watch Mandalorian, the Super Commando, or the Death Watch Airborne Trooper. Or like, what is it called? Airborne Trooper, I was right. I don't know where the fuck all the problems with this came. But this design, right? This guy is where the flaws really, really, really come into play. So, once again, here's Jaster real quick, just to get like a rundown of what a classic Mandalorian figure kind of like looks and feels like, right? So their articulation is slightly better, specifically, basically, and they can actually all perform the same sort of like, Jango Fett posing from, the Bounty Hunter video game and whatnot, right? But the flaw comes in with these guys' sculpt, because this guy also shares the same one, which is kind of disappointing. So, in general, a Mandalorian has, like, cool customized armor. They have, like, flamethrowers, dart launchers, that sort of thing that can be built into the wrists. And this guy, these figures here, these two, specifically can't really reach their wrists to activate any sort of, like, flame jets or something. And I think even some of them don't have those flame jets, specifically these guys, but the Airborne Trooper kind of does. So a big flaw comes in, too, with their weapon. So these guys got, like, a perfect gun. They're not, once again, their arm length is not the best to, like, hold it. Like, and you're very limited on your posability. And once again, teeny tiny flaw with the weapons themselves. The material that's used to make them is very soft and rubbery. I don't remember a fucking Star Wars figure having soft and rubbery, like, equipment. Because, like, I know his is not, like, it's like this nice middle ground between, soft, it's like this nice middle ground, like, where it's hard, but not hard enough that it's gonna, like, snap if you, like, fuck it up, or you're gonna jam it into someone's eye. Hence, Jaster's little, blaster with his bayonet there. But these guys, however, their rifles and their pistols are so elasticy that, like, I'm afraid, like, you can sort of see it bending there, which does not look natural at all. Once again, very limited articulation for the arms means you can't really get them to use their weapons at full posability. I just wanted to get him to hold it, like, downwards out in front of him, but with the thing on the side, him holding the little handle, but that ain't, or the grip, I should say, that ain't gonna happen here. But, so these guys come with this type of blaster rifle. Kind of reminds me of the ones that are used in the KOTOR video game, if you remember. Unfortunately, these things... Come on, focus, please. Unfortunately, these things don't fit well in these guys' hands. I kind of got a good in his because, once again, it's kind of facing down. But him, I got a good grip on the edge there, on that side, but not that hand. It kind of kept slipping out, and I'm not even sure why. So they can't even effectively hold these things. Lore problems with their weapons is, the pistols also belong to Westar, the same company that made Jango Fett's pistols, which I guess, he's Jango Fett's a Mandalorian, that means all Mandalorians use Westars. But this is where the fatal flaw comes in. So these guys actually have dedicated holsters, which is awesome. So if you don't want to hold their dinky little pistol, if you don't want to try to get them to hold their dinky little pistol, you can get them to put it in their holster, and it actually looks pretty fine. However, these two, their holsters are built into their pauldrons, or not even pauldrons, the greave armor or whatever. Greaves, I think those are, yeah, right? And this is terrible. So mileage, I got a fourth guy here, right? Let me just get him out real quick. I wanted to use him as an example for like all this stuff going forward. So this here, right, is not a good thing. These can't go in any. So these things will vary on how deep they go. This is also another reason why I bought a couple more, because this is why I wanted to wait a little bit before I made this video, so I can open a few of them and check and see if it's like a difference thing. And yes, there is a difference. So sometimes you can get these in more. Sometimes they're going to be stuck like this, or like, you know, they're going to look awkwardly placed, like this eye is actually in a little deeper than this one. They can technically fit more deeper in, but the force required to do that, you're going to bend the weapon like that because of the rubbery plastic. And I don't know what to tell you if it snaps in half. If it's going to snap in half, you're going to have half a gun in there that you're going to get, or you need to get like a tweezer, which might damage the figure and whatnot. And there's that whole sort of thing. So it's bad enough that they have like stuff that's not, you know, pretty good. It's just going to not, you know, fit in there. So some other minor flaws include the fact that there is no sort of like weapons holding for the rifle, which is kind of, you know, if they double the size of the backpack, right, the jetpack, why not put like a little clip to put the rifle in or something? That way you can have it on them and whatnot rather than use the pistols. But, you know, I guess it's a whole nother thing. But now another minor flaw here, or not even, no, this is actually, I think could be potentially be a major flaw. So their belt and codpiece, right? So this is made out of like some weird rubbery plastic that can dry out if not careful. And like you have to regulate the temperature in this, but what makes it even worse is that like these pauldrons aren't attached at the shoulders. As you can see there, it's sort of lifting up a piece on the side there, and I think that kind of like leads into this sort of internal piece of the action figure. So if this snaps off, it's done. So you got to be really careful with these because these guys have like it on. As you can see, their armor is different. They have their pauldrons like perfectly on their shoulders and whatnot, like articulated in and everything. But these guys, I guess, trying to hide like the joint and everything, made these, you know, separate, and it doesn't really look too natural at number one. And like I said, potentially these could snap off, and then you're screwed. Like, oh, I got a broken figure that you're gonna have to glue back on. And again, on this guy specifically, you can sort of see in the the little groove there. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of dumb. Like it feels like change for the sake of change, where once again, how it's not hard to update this design to make it more articulated and to give it all, you know, the sort of deal. A little minor pet peeve of mine, specifically for these guys too, is they don't have like these Super Commandos don't have the little rangefinder that moves on the sides of their helmet, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. I'm not sure why, but hey, I guess that is what it is. Also, a little minor note, too, before I move on to, like, my second little bit about this video, is there is a fourth Mandalorian action figure that is a Super Commando with the sort of, Darth Maul paint style, as well as little horns on their head to, you know, simulate Darth Maul's horns, or, like, the Zabrak horns and whatnot. Yeah, he's definitely going to be falling over because of top heaviness. Oh, no. You really got to get them into, like, strange leg positions in order to get them saying, there we go. Or you got to, like, fumble around with their chest. So they're going to look barrel-chested, out poking and whatnot. And I didn't want that one. And so I didn't get him because, you know, I'm not a big fan of the Clone Wars, as I already said. And these guys can kind of already be stand-ins for generic Mandalorians in a background scene or something. But so I didn't need anything that's, you know, going to remind me of the show for the most part. Other than that, I do say, though, I actually want to take apart, because these guys are definitely like the sort of, okay, we're getting into like a cool design territory. It's kind of looking like that and whatnot. What I want to do though specifically is I want to get like, I don't know, a few of these guys, right? Rip them apart and, sort of put them back together and do like a custom paint job and stuff like that. And the reason why I want to do that is because, one, I want to make a bounty hunter, Star Wars bounty hunter, the game style and sort of accurate Django, where, he could do all the poses, jump in the air, do flips, everything like that, because these guys really got that good articulation for that. Plus, now, like I said, I discovered is I could probably get like an older Django figure that's got like this sort of design, take him apart, get like, some of the pieces, or just, I don't know, style something. Give him like the arm, give him like, the arms of this dude, or like, I don't know, maybe it's possible I can customize it, pull that out, put something in. It's all like up in the air on what I want to do, because I've seen customs that go like balls deep, and I've seen customs that go like, very cosmetically deep, like they'll glue something onto like a regular figure, or they'll make like a custom weapon out of PVC pipe or something else just to kind of get it to fit and whatnot. But I'll kind of see in the future what I want to do. So for now, I'm just kind of gonna probably army build these guys for a little bit. I'm glad with the amount I got so far, but I can see this though. I have seen like one or two of the new episodes in The Mandalorian. Specifically the one where they fight the pirates on the planet Navarro, which is kind of funny because I know there's a Fallout location named Navarro. And I kind of hope that they make some of the more generico Mandalorians from that, because I'd like to get some more of these guys in different colors and kind of like army build a little group of Mandalorians. Hell, maybe we'll finally see some alien Mandalorians, or Mandalorians with some unique weapons. So there we go. And actually, I should say too, I have the heavy Mandalorian, the dude with like the Gatling gun, because he looked fucking slick, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get a 3 1/4 inch figure of him, because why not? I love Mandalorians that much that he's pretty damn cool. But yeah, once again, kind of the best and worst Star Wars action figure that I like, and I'm going to try to army build because they're pretty damn cool with their design and like their articulation and everything. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Merrick out. See you guys.